Okay, so my speak is school should start later. They say that early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. However, this is not an option for many American teenagers because we're forced to, we cannot go to bed early, but we are still forced to be early to rise. So we are chronically sleep deprived. And today I want to talk to you about problems related to teen sleep. Teen sleep deprivation, causes of it, and one way we as a society can remedy this dangerous problem. So the problem with current start times is many high schoolers have a very demanding schedule. We are constantly going. We have AP classes, honors classes, hours of homework, on top of athletics and clubs, family obligations, and many of us also work part-time jobs, sometimes not getting off until 10 or 11 o'clock at night when we have, say, 4 or 5 hours of homework waiting for us when we get home, not including the classwork that we didn't finish. So these demanding schedules result in less sleep, and less sleep causes many problems. According to the CDC and the Sleep Foundation, the time of getting up for school and teen sleep deprivation leads to lower academic success, so we don't succeed as much as we can because we're so sleep deprived. We're at a higher risk for mood disorders such as depression and anxiety. We have a higher risk for drug and alcohol use, and there's an increase in uses of stimulants such as caffeine or even some illicit drugs because we are so tired and we can't function on such little sleep that we're getting. So, as I said, it can lead to depression and anxiety, and there's an increased risk of car accidents because we are so sleep deprived. So, the cause of this problem has biological roots. According to Children's National and a scientific case for starting school later, these causes are due to the teenage biological clock shifting later, meaning our body does not release the sleep hormone called melatonin until later at night, sometimes 10 or 11 or even midnight. So we are naturally hardwired to go to bed later and get up later. So it is hard for us to go to bed early even though we're still getting up early. So not just is this problem rooted in our schedules, it is rooted in our biological makeup. But we are still getting up early. 86% of high schools start before 8:30 a.m. and I know that ours is one of them, even though we do not have it nearly as bad as some other schools in the district. Now there is an obvious solution. School should start later. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, high school should start at 9 a.m. That's a pretty big push from the 8:20 that we have and the 7:45 that other schools have. Now, the earliest the AAP recommends is 8:30 a.m. According to an article called Evidence is Mounting, School Should Start Later, and another article, Sleeping Through High School, these times are not nearly as common as they should be. It has been found that only roughly 14% of high schools start at that recommended time. But pushing back these start times allows students to sleep more, and students are happier and healthier under the system. I know that we had a delay in our schedule due to the hurricane a few months ago, and did you all feel more awake and more functional with that later start time?
Yeah.
So why hasn't this happened? If the solution is so obvious, you would think that they would have already changed it, right? Cost. It all comes down to money. School systems worry about incurring costs related to the switch. Studies have shown that the challenges only affect the budget in minor ways. So they're worried about having to change bus routes or hire different drivers. And the community is found to be driven and built around the school system because it depends mainly on high school workers. However, the local community will adjust. We won't. So what can you do is probably what you're asking yourself. Talk to your local school officials about later start times because There is zero evidence that our current start times are doing us any good, and a lot of evidence that they're doing a lot of bad. After all, as I just said, there is zero evidence that our current schedule is doing anyone any good, and a lot that they are doing plenty bad. Now, I'm required to take 2 questions from the audience, so does anybody have any questions off the top of their head?
So if 9 o'clock is the recommended start time, would later start to be worse, or would 9 o'clock, is that the best time?
Studies have shown that the later start time, the ideal time is 9 a.m. They have not really looked into starting later because when it starts later like that, then it can start pushing into athletics and clubs and keeping the students up even later, which kind of defeats the purpose. I need another question.
So you said the reason schools are starting earlier is because it would take money to transition it?
Yes.
So the earlier start time isn't what's causing the money to be better or worse spent. It's just the fact that changing the schedule would cost money.
Yes, the current system is, our school system is built around our high schools because a lot of stores and companies depend on their young workers. And if we were to change this, then there would be a lot of issues that we would run into, and we would have difficulties with the community adjusting. However, they would adjust. It would just take time, and the financial cost that they would incur is minimal. Thank you.